Good afternoon. I want to introduce you to, this is In Their Words, and I want to introduce you to a fine guest and fine artist and a character and a half, Doug Wallace, who is, this will be a dancing kind of conversation,
Right.
as opposed to many other we have. You get to see some of his wonderful artwork and see the covers of a couple of his books. And he also does the paintings, which you're going to also see. And great background. Welcome to In Their Words, Doug, and explain who you are a little bit.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah, explain who I am. Well, that's a philosophical question.
Right, right. No, we've had enough philosophy in the last show.
Yeah. Well, I think that I'm an artist, of probably different kinds, and art's been my life in various forms, from writing, music, painting, etc.
If we can, we get Vanitas up. There it is. Girl with a hat, Vanitas.
Yeah, the Vanitas paintings are actually, they've been around for centuries, and the Dutch in the 16th and 17th century were doing a lot of these, vanitas I think is the Latin term for that.
Vanitas, okay.
And yeah, and they're basically about the impermanence of life. Queen is a little bit different in the sense that there's no vanitas type of theme there. Basically, it's, I was interested in the old icons from the Byzantine period, Russian icons, they were so beautifully done with sort of jewel technique. And I wanted to sort of capture that same thing, but I wanted to do it in my own way so that it wasn't like a religious icon, but yet it was something that was kind of surreal, both surreal and yet it drew from the past.
Let's take a look at the next one if we can, the Tree of Love, which I like the name. And where are we going here, Doug?
Well, we're really dealing with the sort of the interconnectedness of all things. So we're all part of the same tree. Even though our molecular structures are a little bit different, at the bottom level, we are the same thing. The tree, the plant, the bird, the beast, the female, we are all interconnected. We're made of the same stuff. And that's thematically what that painting is. The genesis of this goes all the way back, decades for me. And I was actually, and I'll be brief as possible, but I was in a swimming pool in Daytona Beach late one night, wondering if I could remember what it was like to be in the birth canal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I figured I had a memory of that, but I had never accessed it. So when I drifted underwater, I began to sense memory that was coming back to me.
So that's your birth canal.
So that was it. It was me coming out of the birth canal into the world. That's why I call it Escape from the Primordial Ooze. This is a little bit of the same theme of the Vanitas painting. You might see that. And it's, again, about, the impermanence of life and a little bit different depiction, but you can see that there are leaves falling, the dying leaves around the figure, the melting clock, of course, the balloon has burst, and of course, people always ask me about the little stinger on the end there. What is it? How does that connect? And that's really that we carry the stinger of the end within ourselves.
Natura absconditus.
Abscondita.
Abscondita.
Yeah,
that sounds more Spanish.
Yeah, it's actually a Latin phrase, and it translates as hidden nature. And what we're dealing with here, my motivation was, again, to express something of the interconnectedness of things, that we're all connected to nature. But as you can see, the faces are split apart, that nature is at the center of our being, and it's really the driving force within us.
I like this one, the octeratist.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's, again, we were talking about the woman and the guitar. Now, if you'll look, there is a guitar in here. It's kind of strapped on the back in a very surrealistic way. But I was house sitting with at a friend's house, and she's this fabulous guitar player, a technical wizard, really. And I did some sketches while I was there because she had guitars everywhere. And of course, my wife playing the guitar. I'm surrounded by guitars, with women with guitars. So, but they were so technically astute that I thought, well, here it is. It's like they have many hands, right? Many tentacles.
The last piece of artwork we have, Amazonia.
Yeah, again, it's that same theme, and it was inspired. I did one of the sketches when I was at the house, and initially it was I was trying to make this surrealistic guitar, again, with all the tentacles around her. Same kind of idea as the previous painting. As I was creating the guitar, it began to look something like a spear, and she began to look something like an Amazonian warrior. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, oh, this is like woman is an artist warrior. Mm-hmm. And so it was the expression of that. Phase Out is really sort of a futuristic novel. It's about, it's kind of an extension of where we are today with a powerful corporation sort of running everything. You know, they're the face behind, you know, the government really, because they're putting the coins in the pockets of those who run the show. Well, this is a book that I actually was a contributor to. It came out several years ago, and you know, I was working in Hollywood as a screenwriter for a number of years. And this book, actually, I'm among several other different people in here. We're writing about the craft of screenwriting and the business of screenwriting, what it is like as a business. It's actually a book that is a self-help book for people who are interested in the screenwriting world. This is an adventure story, a fantasy adventure story that actually was initially a screenplay that I actually tried to sell to Hollywood. But because I actually wanted to introduce young people to Shakespeare, they were afraid, Hollywood was afraid of it. They were afraid people, because a lot of the dialogue is sort of written in a slang version of Elizabethan language, you know. It's iambic pentameter, you know. It's all sort of lyrical in the way it's written, and but yet it's an adventure story.